Hi, I'm Anya, half of the Tweeks, and at Comic-Con I was so lucky to interview the cast of Supergirl, which is one of my favorite shows. If you haven't seen the first part of the interview, go to last week's video and go check that out. But in this part of the interview, I got to interview Supergirl, Superman, and her sister Alex. Check it out.
This has been the best experience of my career by far.
Yeah.
It's pushed me so much further than I thought I was capable of, and in so many different ways. I mean, you know, coming off of Grey's Anatomy, it's like, you know, it's the doctor show, and it's like, and then coming onto this, it's like, you guys want me, like me, and then but being able to step into it and really, you know, full force. Like, I love it. I love being part of the action stuff. I love doing the stunts, and there's something like this mentality switch, almost like getting in, even just in the DEO suit. It's like all of a sudden this thing changes, and I love it. It's been so much fun, and I love, you know, the majority of the work that I've done was with David and with Melissa, and I love those two to death. And so we have such a great bond already, you know, and for Alex to be a part of the journeys of these iconic characters, it's just kind of cool, because I get to kind of weave in and weave out, and there's no boundaries for me. It's like I get to kind of just play. It gives us an incredible opportunity to tell a much bigger story, and an incredibly relevant story. And, you know, I have little girls. I have 2 little girls, and for them to see women that can be strong and can be powerful, and I love that you see both sides of Kara really discovering who she is and embracing those kind of powers, and just doing such good with them. And then you see Alex, who doesn't have powers, but is just as determined and just as passionate and just as powerful. You know, and it's such a great lesson that I get to teach my girls, because they're just like, you don't have to have superpowers to be powerful, but at the same time, you need to figure out who you are and walk in that and be proud of that, you know, flawed or not. It's a great message. Well, you know, I mean, we're still trying to figure that whole thing out. I mean, even reading the script, the interactions, it's not so much of it is Supergirl with Superman kind of doing their thing. But you do kind of get an idea of the dynamic of what happens when her real family kind of comes in, and, you know, how that affects Alex. But you do see that, you know, there is a genuineness to their relationship, but it does get, the whole thing gets very tested in the first couple episodes, because, I mean, Kara obviously being able to have her cousin with her just brings a whole different, you know, kind of experience for her, and to be really stepping out as who she is. And then he kind of comes in, and it's sort of like, there's a lot of really fun moments in the first, I can't say it, but there's a lot of fun moments in the first couple episodes. You know, the big part of Alex's mission is to figure out what happened, to find out where he is, to get him back. And that is the big journey with Supergirl, Alex, and John Jones. Like, that's their goal, is to figure out what happened and how, you know, deep that rabbit hole goes, because it's a bad place. Cadmus is a very bad place, and we find that out very quickly. And from it, kind of like, is birthed a lot of things that we didn't really know were in there. And so it is the question of, is he alive? Can they find him? But it's great, because this season we'll get to see Alex outside of the DEO, and outside of just her relationship with Kara, and find out who she really is. And it's a lot of self-discovery for her in many ways, because she has been so dedicated to just protecting Kara and just being that figure for her in her life. And so, you know, it's fun. You get to see a little bit of like what does her apartment look like? Where does she live? I don't know where she lives. Part of me's like, does she live at the DEO? I don't know. But yes, we get to learn a lot.
You know what? I don't know what it is. I've really never felt more comfortable going into a process, and I don't know if it's just because Greg and Andrew and I had such a great meeting when we talked about it. I think feel confident in what we all find interesting about this character. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to get to work. It's been a few weeks now of anticipation, so to get up there and actually start shooting will be a lot of fun. To actually just kind of put everything into motion. Haven't done it yet. A lot of fittings and measurements and stuff, but no suit yet. So it'll be very, very surreal when that day comes. I thought it would be funny at some point once the episodes air or something to take the suit out and go golf or something. I just find it funny to see like people in like, you know, whether it's DC or Marvel movies when they're like on set photos, like taking Instagram or getting coffee. It's always just like a very mundane
craft
thing.
services.
Yeah, totally. It's always really fun. So. Obviously, say that again? I wasn't a big comic reader when I was a kid. I started acting when I was really young, and so I was always doing acting and then playing baseball really competitively. So it was between school, acting, and baseball. I was like, I didn't have a lot of extracurricular time for reading the comics, but always a huge fan of the characters. I mean, it's a world that I think, you know, pretty much every boy grows up with, and it's kind of like it's something that takes over. So it's definitely very surreal to be a part of it in this way now. I can't give too much away. Yeah, I can't give too much away. But it will be fun to see how that relationship develops. Obviously, they established it in season 1 through the text and things like that. But it'll be nice to see how it actually rounds out once they're in the same place and actually being able to talk about, you know, whatever it might be, whether it's family, whether it's history, any of this stuff. It'll be nice to have them in the same place. People talk all the time, and what they talk about, I don't know. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. As far as I know, it's that, and then who knows? It's the magic of TV. You never ever know. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of honestly trying to stay as oblivious and, you know, away from any of that as I can. Just trying to approach it as any other character. For me, looking at the suit obviously is its own symbol. It stands for so much. But to him and to me, it's kind of like it's like a 3-piece suit that someone puts on to go to work. It's what it is. It's what he wears when he goes to do his job. So trying to approach it that way, and just remember that he's a person, and finding what drives him, what motivates him, his relationships, like that to me is the more important part to focus on, and especially, you know, that character in this world, because the tone is always different in certain things and things like that. So finding out how he exists with these people and how he relates to them, that's kind of where my focus is at, making it our own. So yeah. I'm not looking into anyone who's done it before. You know, ideas of what I think, you know, again, what he stands for, and then maybe, you know, real life people, fictional characters that kind of represent those things, and how they kind of carry themselves. That's always like a fun kind of thing to do as well. So it'll be more, you know, inspiration and finding what that means to me and how to portray that through him. So definitely, I think it's always nice when you kind of just are truthful to something that comes up through you or through an inspiration, as opposed to copying or emulating something that you've seen before. I just don't think that ever really works out too well. I don't know. Those are decisions that I don't get to make for sure. But I mean, they're so great about it. The writers are so good, and they've done such a great job with the show through the first season already that I'm sure they'll have little things like that again. They're very good and creative over there. So yeah. It would be fun. It's always fun to incorporate that, but that'll definitely be up to the writers. And I've done some baseball stuff in my time already, so I think I'll be just fine if they don't. But it's never a bad day when you got to swing a bat or throw a ball. So.
I am so ready to start season 2. I've been chomping at the bit my whole hiatus. And the things that I'm most excited for, I felt like last season was Kara's coming out party, and she was really just trying to find solid ground beneath her feet, and was a crash course in being a superhero, essentially. And this season I want to see her just really sink in and come into her own as a woman, and as someone in the workplace, and someone who wants to fall in love, and just in every facet of her life. I want her to find out how to be the strongest woman she could possibly be, and really feel empowered and have ownership of herself. Of course I am. I think any opportunity that we can have these characters that are so beloved and have been for so long interact, gosh, the more we can do it, the better. I mean, it's an honor, and I think what I love about her the most is that she's not only inspiring to women, and that's what's feminist about her, is that everyone can relate to the struggles she has, and everyone can be inspired by her and what she stands for. So I feel privileged to be able to wear the S and the cape and fly around and do crazy things. And it's empowering to me too, you know. She's inspiring to me as Melissa. And I think she sets a really high standard for people. She's a really good role model, just intrinsically, how she's written and who she has been since for the past few decades, half a century that she's been creative. Anytime there's been a moment like that for Kara, we had it in the Red Tornado episode, and we had it with Red Kryptonite. It always serves as a major turning point in her life. And whether it's she's discovered something about herself, or she has fallen, and I think after Red Kryptonite she really screwed things up and realized that, okay, well, it's going to take time to heal, and it's going to take time to really, I kind of have to start from ground zero again. So those are really important moments, and I like how they're few and far between. I think they're more poignant and significant when they're that way. And I personally wish that Red Kryptonite would have gone on for 5 episodes more. It was so fulfilling and fun to play that, and an interesting facet of womanhood to explore, and femininity, like what it means to be angry and how people perceive women when they're angry, and what does that mean for the interactions they have with everyone. So I loved playing those scenes. No, I think that it's a glass ceiling that should be shattered. I think it's so exciting to have everyone on one network that we'd be remiss to not utilize that.
So that's all for now. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Periscope, and like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and check back every Thursday on ComicMix.com for new videos. Bye!